Okay, so in this lab, you're going to take some aspirin headache pills and separate out the contents. So you're taking a mixture and you're going to dissolve it. So we're talking about heterogeneous mixtures and homogeneous mixtures. Heterogeneous means not uniform. Homo means uniform. So the mixtures. So we're going to take the headache tablet, and we're going to separate it out. We're going to crunch it up, turn it into a homogeneous mixture, which is the water, and then we're going to separate out the components. And the way we do that, so the whole idea is that it's in the aspirin tablet, so it's going to be caffeine and acetaminophen and aspirin. Aspirin is acetylsalicylic acid. Acetaminophen and caffeine are soluble in cold water as well as hot water. Aspirin, acetylsalicylic acid, is not terribly soluble in cold water, but it's soluble in hot water. So basically, what you're going to do in this lab, go through the procedure. You're going to grind up the aspirin the headache tablet. Grind it up with the mortar and pestle. That's that thing. It looks like a bowl with a little thing with a head on it. So you take it and you jam it into it like that to crunch it up. So first thing, filter paper. This looks so confusing. You take the filter paper, you fold it in half, fold it in half again so it's a quarter, and if you see in the picture there's those things, you just put the slit in, and maybe you can even dab a few drops of water in it and put it in the funnel. That's the way you do that. So this looks complicated to me, but if you see that, if it's easy for you, all you do is fold it in half twice and then stick it in the thing, and you'll see that one of the places, it's going to be 3 times. It's going to be like this side will be one sheet of paper thick, the other one's going to be 3 sheets of paper thick. That's fine. This is just called gravity filtration. Not a big deal. So what you do, you crunch up the paper, crunch up the aspirin, and well, I guess it depends on I would just assumed it was Excedrin. But there's gonna be other stuff in there that's soluble. Maybe it's got sugar in it or some starch. But either way, you take this stuff and you throw the powder into the test tube and you heat it up. So you heat it up, use your stove, whatever, heat it up, put it in a water bath, let it sit there, and it all dissolves. So after it all dissolves, does it tell you to filter it? Let's see here. Test tube, see aspirin powder, paper-shaped funnels, broken. Yeah, don't break the test tube if you do that. Yeah, use the test tube holder handle. You grab it. Okay. Now we're waiting in the funnel. So, and okay, so you have to filter it just because that's to get if there's any shell on it to get rid of that stuff. So let it sit there, so you have the filtered solution. Sit there, and then you take this and you put it into an ice water bath. So I mean, don't mix the solutions. So if you do, you'll dissolve more aspirin. So meaning you take the test tube A and you stick it. So kind of like champagne in a bucket, if you will. Put your test tube into a beaker of ice water. If you're at home, and the other thing you do, throw it in your freezer. If you have a freezer, I don't know if you're on a base or something like that, or you're somewhere else. If you're deployed in Afghanistan or something, then this might be a little more difficult. But if you're at home, easiest thing to do is to throw it into your freezer. Still use the ice water bath. Don't just throw it in the freezer; it'll take forever. The reason being is because you gas in the freezer. It's going to take a long time for that to cool. Ice water, it'll take like an hour or more if it's in the freezer to cool down. It'll take you like 5 minutes to cool down. If it's taking a long time, take your glass rod and scratch the surface. It just provides a surface for the crystals to form. It's kind of cool when it crystallizes. It looks kind of like it's snow. It's white powdery stuff. That's the aspirin. So take it, scratch it. White powdery stuff will eventually form, and let it sit for a while. I mean, if you don't just wait till you see some, like, oh, I'm done. Let it sit for a while so the crystals will grow and get more out. So then you take that solution, and another hint is take your stir it up. So like because the thing is, if you have your test tube and you pour it out, you're going to pour all the liquid out, and you're going to have the aspirin crystals stuck in the test tube, and you're sitting there with the thing trying to scrape them out. It might help you if you swirl it a little bit and then pour it, because then that way the crystals kind of get suspended in the water. At least that's what I do. It always makes it a lot easier for me to get more of the product out. And then you put it in there, and you put the crystals on the filter paper, and you let it sit there. Just let it sit there for a while, let it dry. Because if you weigh it right after you do it, it's kind of wet, and you get a yield that's really high. Let it sit there, let it dry, and wait a day is probably safe. Be careful not to let your dog eat it, or your kids to play with it. Set it somewhere high where they can't reach. Like on top of the fridge. Little kid's not gonna be able to get to the top of the fridge, or a dog, or I guess a cat could. If your cat likes to sit on top of the fridge, then maybe don't put it on the top of the fridge. Put it in a cabinet or something. So let it sit there and dry for a while, and then weigh it. And don't throw these crystals away, because they're going to be used later. Okay. So these observations here. So take a picture of the crystallized crystals when you're done. Give me a picture of what's left over at the end. So let me know if you have any questions.